Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Amber Unfiltered. Tonight I'm going to give you my review of the newest episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. I believe it's season 6, episode 2. But before I do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you want to cash at me at Amber Unfiltered Show, that'd be greatly appreciated. So, per usual, I have my tablet here with notes because your girl's getting old and I can't remember everything. Usually my memory can be pretty good. It just depends. I feel like there's so much that happens in these shows and I take so many notes. So forgive me if this is a long review. So the episode opens with Shay and Fabo. I should say raggedy ass Fabo because he ain't about shit and he ain't never gonna be about shit. And I hate to say that about a black man, but it's just true. He just gives me dusty energy. But anyway, so they're taking a ride on the freeway. She says that she and Fabo are the Bonnie and Clyde of Miami, which is a bit ironic given the fact that he does not reciprocate the same type of love, respect, and kindness that she shows him. I feel like she's always caping for a man that is not her equal and somebody that constantly dogs her out. She teaches men how to treat her, and unfortunately, they treat her like garbage. So anyway, they pull over, they're talking, she's catching him up, they're kikiing or whatever. She starts talking about her mom and Fabo not getting along because last season it was just a fucking disaster. It's been a disaster ever since this man has walked into her life and gotten her pregnant, honestly. So, she hasn't talked to her mom since the fight they had last season. I think one of the season finale last time ended with her trying to have a sit down dinner with MJ, her brother, and her mom to try to get everybody on one accord. She tried to make it a kumbaya and make it appear as if they're one big happy family and they can get past it. But I'm like, you can't just get past someone disrespecting your mom. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you don't treat my mom right, I can't be with you. Point blank into the period. But Shay and her mom do have a very estranged / like fractured relationship, so it kind of makes sense as to why she's taken up for Fabo, because her and her mom just don't have that bond. They were trying to get on good terms or better terms when she had the baby, but I still feel like there's just so much animosity, so much hurt, and so much of them not being able to let stuff go. And then she allows this man to come in and disrespect her mom and doesn't even stick up for her mom. So anyway, to me, that's a huge red flag that she hasn't talked to her mom in that long. I don't know how many months or weeks it's been, but even though I don't call my mom every day and I don't text her like a whole lot, my mom hates texting. She'd rather me call her. I do try to check in with her and just let her know little stuff that's going on with me. Like if I, when I was still working, I would let her know I'm at work, I'm at home, if I'm out with some friends, or like just what I'm up to so she knows I'm straight. Like I really don't be asking my mom for stuff. I try to leave her alone because she's a very busy lady and I just want my mom to live her best life. So anyway, but when it's time to show up for each other, like we're there for each other is my point. So I don't like the fact that she stopped talking to her mom and that she's letting this man get in the middle of her family like that. She says it's not Fabo's fault. She puts the blame on her mom, which I also didn't like. Her mom can be very spicy, but I think when her mom feels hurt or attacked, she just goes on the defense. And that's something I think that me and my mom kind of have have dealt with in the past. Like I think we internalize what the other one is saying as an attack, and it's really not. I think it's just like the delivery and how we interpret stuff. So we're trying to do better about that. But it takes a lot of work to be proactive about it. So she's cut all her friends and family off. I wrote a note here that she's now entirely or solely dependent on him. And I feel like that's a terrible position to be in as a woman, because to me, that gives Fabo the upper hand or control. Now, she is contributing to this dynamic for sure. I'm not going to put all the blame on him, but I'm just worried that he might be isolating and destroying her from her support system. And then she only turns to him for support. And it's like, when they're good, but when they're bad, they're bad. And they just have a very up and down. Like, it's like a fucking roller coaster. I'm like, bitch, my head hurt. I'm dizzy. I want to get off the roller coaster cart. But anyway, she talks to Fabo about picking up Amada's daughter because there was beef with her and Amada last season. The cast took a trip to DR, I think, to celebrate Amada's twins' birthday, and she wanted to introduce them to the Dominican side, especially Alan's family, because I think they hadn't really met or interacted. So she was taking her family to meet his family, but also allowed the twins to see the other side of their extended family. So I guess they were all staying in the same hotel, and her and Amada had gotten into it. And Fabo was being filmed picking up one of her daughters. I guess that wanted him to pick her up, and Amada went ham on Shay. And everyone was going up against Shay because Shay had done something to another castmate, basically used someone's trauma and like threw it back in his other girl's face, Estelita. Estelita had mentioned being sexually abused by a family member. I want to say her father. And Shay threw that in a girl's face, and that just went so fucking left. So Shay's talking shit about Amada. Her and Amada have a very up and down relationship, similar to Eliza and Amada, but I think Shay and Amada is worse because they were so close, and now they're always frenemies. Like, it's up down, up down. And then Amada also dated her brother MJ in the past, and that has caused some tension or some issues. But her and Amada, they're like, oh, we're good, I love you, I forgive you. And then boom, they're back to fighting, they're back to sparring up. And I'm just like, I don't have time for that. Either you're gonna be my friend or you're not. So then she's like, Estelita and Eliza are terrible friends for Amada. Like, I was the one who really had her back, whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, Shay, no, you wasn't, but okay. I think, let me back up. I'm not gonna say that. Shay was very good friends, you know, to Amada, but when she felt attacked by her, she would just completely go below the belt, completely go for the jugular. And that's something I think Shay needs to work through. I feel like she does that with anybody. When she feels tried, she's just like, rah, like, it just is bad. I think I understand why she acts the way that she does, so I don't completely fault her for that. She didn't really have anybody to protect her, like I said in another video. So anyway, Shay tells Fabo that Flo is opening a new business, and she invited her to put her wellness products in Flo's store. No offense, but Shay sells this product called Healthy Hand, and it looks like any other like gummy or supplement that any influencer would see. It doesn't look like anything that is, you know, avant-garde or something that's really helpful to the market. So it just kind of seems like, you know, and I remember last season she was like, oh, I made $1 million off of the product. And it's like, that's great that you made $1 million, but are you paying all your taxes, all your business expenses? You know, I'm curious because when people start bragging about how much they made, I'm like, are you taking care of your responsibilities? That's always something that quickly pops into my head. So Shay decides she's going to extend the olive branch to her brother MJ, who she's also estranged from because of Fabo. So she wants to see if he'll come and support her and that they can kind of kick it and patch things up. So the next scene opens up with fucking Flo and Marlon. I'm rolling my eyes for a reason. So Flo has on this skimpy ass outfit, bitch. I'm sorry, I'm about to be cussing because this is how I normally talk. I do cuss a lot. I be trying to chill and then I just get real animated and then the B word and everything else just start flying out my mouth. She's got on like this spaghetti strap, like tank, like camisole or like tank top. She's got on booty shorts, her ass hanging out. It just looks so, she just looks like a cheap prostitute. And I hate that for her because Flo is actually a baddie. I do think she's beautiful. I think that she tends to wear too much makeup and her body is not proportionate to her actual frame. But she's always wearing very skimpy clothing. I think she just wants to show off her body. And I'm like, sis, do you? If that makes you feel sexy, if that makes you feel good, I support it. But wear something that fits your body, that accentuates your curves. Don't be out here having it all hanging out and then wondering why nobody can take you seriously. You know, because you can be sexy and be taken seriously. But again, just the presentation and how she be wearing the outfits, I'd be like, sis, like the outfit she wore when her and Amada and Eliza got to fighting, I was just like, girl, what the fuck you got on? You barely got any clothes on. Like, you're not 17. You're a grown-ass woman. You're in your 30s and 40s. Yes, you can be sexy. You know, sexiness does not have an age limit, but come on, sis, dress for you. Dress for your shape. So Marlon says he's so fucking raggedy. You know who he fucking reminds me of? Y'all ever watch Hey Arnold? What was that ninja's name? I'm not gonna say the N-word because my mama don't like that word, but that ninja, Oscar, remember the sorry bum? He was like, he had the beard, he'd go, eh, hey, 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 and like, Susie, go make me a sandwich. I think that was his wife's name. He was so raggedy. This man didn't have a job. He ain't have no money. He ain't have nothing to offer his wife, and he was always raggedy and trying to scam somebody. That's who fucking Marlon reminds me of. He even looked like him, like the black version of him, the Haitian version. So anyway, go look him up online and drop it in the comments. But anyway, so what was I finna say? Yeah, Marlon said he's been trying to win Flo back. Then Flo confronts him about Amada and them two flirting because of what Amada has said about him being all up in her face and pushing on him and how she said you need to go get your baby daddy or your husband. And so he's like, oh, well, she's feeling the kid. Like, she like the Haitian sensation. And I'm just like, boy, no, she does not. She don't want your dusty ass. Like, you're just fun for her. You're not anything to take seriously. So what killed me was he like picked up his arm or something. They were like sitting down. He was like trying to make her breakfast. They're sitting at the table and he like lifts up his elbow to start talking and doing this with his hands. His elbows were so ashy. I said, goddamn. I said, he reminded me of what my dad used to say when people had ashy elbows. He'd be like, you look like you blowing coke or baby powder. And I'm like, bro, that's how he looked. His elbows were so white. It disturbed me on a spiritual level. I said, I know your ancestors believe in lotion. I know they do. So anyway, they get to arguing, get to fighting, and then she starts going off on him again. She be getting her blood pressure raised for a raggedy and a dusty, and I don't have it to do. So she throws some fucking food at him. I think she threw like orange juice, whatever he made, it ended up on his face. And I kind of felt bad for him because I was like, nobody deserves that. But I feel like she do that for the camera. It's like, Flo, you can't fight, so you just throw shit. And it's usually food related. So anyway, also, sidebar, I feel like she wants to get back with him, but she's too embarrassed because of all the shit he's done to her publicly and like on national TV. And I think she doesn't want to appear weak or like she's lesser than or like she don't have control of her situation. But we already know she's kind of a bird. Like, it's like, sis, if you're going to go back to your husband, go back to your husband. Y'all still technically legally married, so you're going to do what you're going to do. People have issues in their marriage all the time. So anyway, we see Zoe getting lit. She's turning up with her girlfriends. They get an Airbnb. It's not disclosed what state or what area. Maybe it's probably Miami, to celebrate, you know, like her accomplishments and her upcoming album. I feel so bad for saying this, so don't eat me up in the comments, but the Airbnb was a little cheap looking. I was like, this tells me that she's still on her grind. She's not quite where she should be. It just was a little like shitty little house. I was like, she was probably better off doing this at her little apartment or townhouse or condo she had with her boyfriend. But anyway, I was like, even like a hotel room or something would have been better than this, or just like renting a rooftop area at a nice hotel. Like the house was not housing. I was like, ooh, girl, no, I would have just stayed at home. But that's just me. And then her outfit, it's just not doing it for her. I'm like, sis, I need you to get clothes that fit and that accentuate. She is a thicker girl, but she could probably get something that accentuates certain curves. And I just feel like it's not giving. Then her hair, I'm sorry, I don't like talking about Black women's hair because I know that's a sensitive topic. Her hair was not cute. And usually she does a really good job. Like she knows how to do hair. Her hair was just like, oh, I'm trying to think of what it looked like. You know what? I don't want to talk too badly about it. I just think it could have looked better. Like, Zoe is pretty. She's not an ugly girl. So anyway, Estelita comes over and she says that her and Zoe became friends down in DR when all that drama was happening with her and Shay. Remember I said Shay was throwing Estelita's trauma back in her face when they got into it because they fell out. Because her and Shay used to be friends. Which I feel like a lot of these girls say they're friends, and then the first sign of weakness or the first sign that something go left, they quick to throw each other's skeletons and bones out. And I understand it's a show, it's a job, but still, I don't really like that shit. So Zoe talks to Estelita, or Zoe had talked to Estelita during the drama with Shay and Amada, and also Shay and Estelita, and told her, you know, I'm sorry that Shay threw that back in your face, like your past, and threw such a hurtful wound back at you. And she told Estelita like she was a strong woman, and they kind of seemed to become friendly. And I feel like Estelita seems like she latches onto anybody, and she uses the word too loosely. I'm like, where the fuck did this girl come from? I know she's been on the franchise in the past. I don't really remember seeing her on there. Also, sidebar, I don't think she dresses really well. She wears really tight, skimpy clothing, and it makes her look cheap. And I'm like, girl, you're not an ugly girl. Also, the way she talks just get on my fucking nerves. I don't know. It's giving Rosetta Stone. And I'm like, sis, you probably do speak another language first. You know, maybe English was like your second or third language. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But she just sounds slow when she talks to me. I don't know what it is. Tell me in the comments if you feel the same way. So Zoe and her girlfriends go to the back of the house, and Zoe's so stupid. She said, this pool is so nice, I can't wait to pee in it. I said, bitch, you read my mind, but not for real. So then Zoe starts opening up to her about the issue she's having with her boyfriend. And she talks about she fired her longtime manager, Kofi. So this kind of low-key reminded me of Amada and Julian. I don't know if y'all remember Julian. He was kind of slimy. He had worked with Trina. He had worked with some other cast members. I want to say when Jessie Woo was on there, and he stole some ideas from Jessie Woo. Like, it was a whole thing. So Julian had represented her for a long time, but Amada had claimed that he had tried to sleep with her and tried to like exploit their relationship. And apparently he had been stealing from her. The contract was not contracting, the recording label, there was like issues with that. So she kind of had to cut ties with him, and Julian just kept kind of giving her the runaround. And then MJ was like, I'm about to see about mine. Like, MJ wanted to put pause on him. And I was like, I don't blame you. So, I put a note here. I said, I'm wondering why these artists have a hard time finding management. I'm like, okay, you know, I know they're on a reality show, and I know reality show stars get bad reps, but some of them can be very professional. Some of them are worth representing and helping them boost their career to the next level. I think there's some really talented people on there. Some, not all. But I feel like they're on national TV. They have eyes on them. They're starting to get followers. They're building their platform. They have businesses and other things. But a lot of them, they do feel like kind of contrite or cliche. They're not anything original. Like, a lot of them have clothing lines or skincare or weave. And I'm like, I want to see somebody do something different. I kind of miss, I want to see like a Cardi B or like a K Michelle again, you know, that'd be kind of exciting. Like, I felt like Amada was like that, but in a different way. But then she just, I don't fucking know. Um, so I feel like they struggle to use the show correctly to like leverage their art or their platform or whatever they're on there for. Cause you're not just on there for the check. I know some of them are on there trying to promote other avenues and other business ventures. So Estelita gives her some good advice. I'll give Estelita a brownie point for this. She tells her not to mix business with pleasure. And she's like, hey, you need to find a proper manager. You need to dead that with the boyfriend because it's going to go left if it hasn't already. Then Eliza comes by and she kind of echoes Estelita's sentiments. Zoe's like, y'all, I work all day, I record, I come home, I cook and I clean, and like it just never ends. Like she has no break. She's drained, she's burnt out. So then they're like, sis, where is your boyfriend from? Her boyfriend's name is Kelvin, and she's like, he from the Bahamas. And they're like, oh, bitch, well, this is America. And I was like, I'm dying. Estelita had me laughing at that line. But I was like, probably culturally is probably to be expected. So then Eliza tells them about Flo throwing a drink on Amada. Zoe says she doesn't see Flo like that. She's like, usually it's Gael, her sister, that's turning up. She's like, are you sure? They're like, no, bitch, it was her. So then Estelita and Eliza talking about sticking up for their friend, Amada. I was like, bitch, y'all really wasn't that close to be doing all this. So they're like, we're going to go see Flo and check her on what she did. I put another note. I'm sorry, I have all these little side notes. I said I think they should butt out. It's none of their business. Unless Flo does something to them or involves them or comes for them or their men or whoever, they just need to mind their business. I definitely feel like they were just trying to have a moment and get some airtime. And I'm like, you just made up with Amada, Eliza. Why are you jumping to defend this girl? She not worried about you like that. Like, that's why she does you the way that she does you. Unfortunately, like Eliza doesn't deserve that type of treatment, but I'm just saying. Amada, she allows Amada to treat her like shit, and this is why they keep getting what they get in their relationship. So then Trina's brother Snoop goes to meet Hot Topic, who is friends with Trina. So Hot Topic is like, hey, I'm concerned about Trina because of Swerve. She's like, she been acting funny ever since she, got with him. And I'm like, we all have that one friend, and bitch, I've been that one friend who act brand new when they get a dude, and then they come crawling back when it don't work out. So her brother's like, oh, she's just caught up in love. Like, it's just Trina being Trina. Like, just give her some time. She'll come back around. And she's like, Snoop, what do you think of him? And he's like, he seemed genuine to me. He seemed fine to me. And he's like, Hot Topic, is there anything I should know? And she's like, well, Bobby told me whoop-de-whoop, about the email with the 5 paragraphs, him being a deadbeat, him stalking Trina, him plotting on her, this, that, and the third. Snoop is like, all right, bet, I'm gonna go check into this. He's like, I don't want to believe this, but I'm gonna go look into it. I'm gonna go see about, oh boy. And he's like, hey, I'm about to go to a video shoot with Swerve and Trina. Bro, I hope I don't be so rude about the video shoot, but I got comments on that. So then we go to Zoe in the kitchen. Kelvin, her boyfriend, is there. He's like, hey, what you cooking? She's like, oh, I'm just throwing together like some chicken and broccoli, just something slight. So he's like, I got some stuff to take care of. Like, we need to turn in your music files because I guess she had been recording and maybe she needs to get them mixed and mastered or something like that. And in her confessional, she's like, my work life is bleeding into my home life, and it's just one big miserable grind. And I was like, damn, I felt that before. And she's like, they start arguing about gender roles, about like him contributing to the household by like cooking and cleaning. And he's like, bro, that's like, I'm not on that. That's you. And she's like, then make your own goddamn play. And I started laughing. I said, because maybe I've been there a couple times or two, a time or two, but I think I married a pretty good person. I don't mind doing that type of stuff for him because he's a really good guy and he takes pretty good care of me. So I'll be like, okay, whatever. Like, when I get mad, then I check myself and then I'll be like, all right, I got your plate still. It's like I'm like 1950s mixed with like 2024. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, because I'm like old school meets new school in my marriage, and just like gender roles and all that stuff. Like, we don't really have gender roles. It's just kind of like whoever can help, whoever can contribute. There's certain stuff I do, like I do all the cooking. He takes care of all the yard work, but he's good with like technology and doing like house repairs. So it kind of works out. He likes to tinker for sure. So he starts ragging on her for taking a vacation with her friends, and he's like, you're not working hard enough. Like, you need to pick up your slack. And I think that just set her off because I think she low-key felt like he was calling her lazy, which I was like, well, are you being lazy? But I'm like, if she needed the break, she needed the break. She shouldn't have to beg for that. So then she's like, you're smothering me. I want to move out. And I was like, yikes. I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it, sis. I didn't see like any chemistry with them. I kind of just felt like it was like convenience or familiarity with them too. I didn't really see what the appeal was, and it just seems more like it's business now at this point. So Yeah, I think I just wrote this here. So I don't know. I think their relationship is very transactional because it's turned into more of a business deal than, or a business partnership than anything else. There's no romance there, and I kind of feel bad. And I feel like Zoe could probably do better and probably find someone where she's able to separate the two. I agree with Estelita. She does need to get proper management. I don't know if she's been looking. I don't know if she just too busy, doing other things that could be possible and just maybe not enough time to do research and reach out and be proactive about it. But she does need help. I think Amara is in the same boat. So Flo goes to see Gael at her restaurant. I call Gael, I think I seen this in the comments. Somebody was like, Gael look like the Mucinex DM monster. I was like, bro, she really do. Like, she's a terrible human being. Like, I feel like part of her be turning up for the show, but I feel like she's actually jealous of her sister and she wants to be her and she want what she has. She always want her sloppy seconds or whatever she has left over. And I'm like, Gael, you trifling as hell. If I had a sister, I would never do that shit to her, but that's just me. I have morals. But anyway, so Flo is like, I stopped talking to you because you're embarrassing me. Like, you slept with my husband, you slept with my ex-girlfriend, because she had like a moment where she was like in a relationship with a woman last season, and then Gael was like kissing on her, feeling on her. It was just nasty. I was like, and it was funny because the girl was so gung-ho against Gael, and then she, like, the second Gael was like, hey, what's up? I'm trying to see what it do. She like flipped like a fucking pancake. I was like, okay. So Gael was like, I realized I'm wrong. I knew I was doing too much, and she apologized. And I was like, bitch, is it pigs flying? I was like, oh my God, Gael apologized. Cause one thing I say I respect about her, which is this much, is that what she says, what she means, and she means what she says. She ain't gonna back down for nobody or nothing. Like, Gael is like, I did it. Okay. Like, she don't care. She don't give two flying fucks. So Gael was like, I did all this stuff to protect you and to show you that these people are not for you. And I'm like, that's rich coming from you when you literally are jealous of your sister and you do everything to undermine her, to drag her down. I think, like I said in another video, her and Marlon drag her down so bad. If she got rid of them two, I think, who was it? Dawn, she used to manage Jocelyn Hernandez. She was trying to work with Flo and she told her, she was like, get rid of your husband and your sister next. Like, I'm telling you, the company that you keep, it can influence you for the better or the worse. And in this case, it's the worst. That's why Flo is stuck. She's not growing. She'll be on the show another 10 years and she'll still be on the same storyline. No music out. She has potential. She has so much potential. I don't want to bash her, but she just does not have a good support system. And she gets too caught up in drama. That's the problem because of the people that are around her. So, I feel like Flo only got on good terms with Gael because she wanted to get her attack dog back. I do agree with the other ladies that Gael's like her reinforcement. She's like her security. Like, Flo ain't about that life. So she just uses her sister to fight her battles. And that's not fair either, even though Gael be dead ass wrong. So Eliza's like, I want to meet up with Flo and Gael or no, was it Estelita? Yeah, I think Eliza said that, and then Estelita was like, I'm pulling up too. And I was like, why are you pulling up? Like, you barely know these girls. Like, stop it, friend. So then Zoe meets up with her sister Bianca, and I was like, Bianca looked like a bootleg version of Eliza. I was like, and Eliza is not ugly, but I was like, her sister kind of rough looking. She had braids, the edges was all flying everywhere, frizzy. She looked tired, like she had bags under her eyes. Her makeup was not, she wasn't an ugly girl. She looked rough. I was like, okay, she kind of, and I don't mean this in no disrespect, Eliza, she kind of looked like Eliza's daughter if Eliza's daughter was rough looking. And Eliza's daughter is pretty. She has like a 18, 19, 20-year-old daughter. I don't remember her name, but if you look her up, you'll see what I mean. Like, there's similarities there. Again, Eliza, your daughter is not ugly. I'm just saying there's a resemblance. So don't kill me, Eliza. Don't beat my ass. So she meets up with her sister Bianca for drinks. She tells her about the argument that her and Kelvin got into and kind of like how he's been stepping into that manager role and it's just like stifling the relationship and just really changing the nature of it. So then Bianca is like, she's like, what's going on with you, sis? So Bianca's like, oh, I've been talking to someone. She all kikiing and quiet about it. I'm like, bitch, I know you're not finna say what I think you finna say based on the commercial that I seen. And bitch, she did. She's like, oh, I've been talking to this guy, Fabian. Zoe like, what Fabian? Cause she like, bitch, I only know one. I think his real name is Fabian. And then it was funny, the producers are so shady, or the editors, they like show a little snippet of Fabo trying to, explaining to Shay's mom how to pronounce Fabian, like how to pronounce it. And I was dying. I was like, the producers are so shady and I love it. So then she's like, Shay's boyfriend? She's like, yeah. She's like, well, he told me they wasn't together and he's single. He can do what he wants. I'm like, bitch, and you fell for it? Like, no, no. He's a dog. You're going to get fleas, bitch. Don't do it. You're going to get ticks. Don't do it. So then she's like, oh yeah, we've been talking for a year and it started on IG. And I'm like, oh my God, you're so dumb. So she's like, well, I commented on a video he was in and we've been DMing ever since. And I was like, okay. I was like, why would you want to be with a man who talks to the mother of his child / girlfriend like that, and the mother of his child's grandmother? Her brother almost fought him. So that should tell you he ain't about shit. And she was like, oh, well, he's not anything like he is on TV. He's so sweet. We've been talking about marriage and the future and kids. And I'm like, and you believed it? You stupid ass bitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I told you when I get real mad, she's a raggedy bitch for real. So Zoe's like, I don't trust that Pop Smoke looking ass bitch. And I'm like, bitch, I'm dead. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Don't come down from heaven and beat my ass. So then Zoe's like, I don't know about my sister's motives. And she's like, why didn't you tell me until now? And I'm like, that's the thing. I said in the notes, I said, I'm sorry, but her sister is busted. Again, Eliza, your daughter is not ugly. You are not ugly. I'm just saying she looked like a rough version of your daughter. So, I feel like I'm questioning her sister's motives. It feels like she's being an opportunist, and it feels like she just did that because she wanted to be on TV. She wanted to have her moment. I feel like Zoe's family is so shady. I don't remember if it was this episode or last. I think it was the last one when they were like, oh, Zoe was like, oh, my family's here to watch me perform. She performed, but we didn't see her family. Then her sister's randomly coming out the woodworks. And on the last season or the season before last, I can't remember if Zoe came. I think she just came this past season. So this is her second season, I believe. Her family was not supportive. They like moved into a house, didn't invite her. She was like homeless. So to me, it feels like they're seeing her success from the show and they want a piece of that. And I don't like that. I feel like they're just around because of what she can do for them or exposure. And that's not right. You need to support her regardless of whether she's on TV or not, whether she's popping as an artist or not. I am very skeptical of her family. She kind of reminds me of Sierra Glamshot from LHH Atlanta, like Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Like her family was kind of like, you know, shaky. And I understand there's a lot of Black women who have estranged relationships with their family. So that's not too far off. But I don't know. I don't trust her sister. And she ragged and she told him about she may or may not be pregnant by him. And I'm just like, here we go again. The side chick chronicles. I was like, Black women, when are we going to do better? We are better than being side chicks. That's one thing I don't like. I don't want to go on national TV to be exposed or to be famous for sleeping with someone else's boyfriend, husband, or whatever. That is... I could not do that. Like, that's just so fucked up. I just would not want to hurt another woman like that, but maybe I'm built different. So anyway, Flo is opening a new business. Well, two. She's opening a new cosmetic or skincare line and then a clothing line. I feel like she's trying real hard to prove she's not broke. I definitely agree with what Amada said last episode, excuse me, at the end when she was like, well, somebody who has money or is well off, they don't articulate that. They don't have to prove, you know, they don't have to like keep bringing it up. And I definitely agree. I think because she got such a bad edit, and remember, I forgot what business it was. It was like a hair store or a clothing store or something. She was like 3 months behind on rent, and her girlfriend Claudia went and told her op, I think Hot Topic, and then Hot Topic had Bernice from fucking Miami Beach Toe, I think it was. She came in with like a fucking air horn and put her on blast at her like opening night of the event, or opening night of her opening the business or something like that. And I was like, God damn, that's cruel. And I was like, Claudia, wrong, because you're not supposed to be telling her business. But I guess because she got mad at Flo for double dipping and going back to her husband, you know, she got mad, so she spilled all her business. And I said, that's an enemy. That's a snake, bro. I don't trust it. I didn't like Claudia from the get. I think she was pretty, but I think she was possessive of Flo. And I also think she was jealous of her. Again, the people that Flo keeps company or keeps around her, her circle is not, it's not giving. So I think also that anybody can open a business, but to maintain it and make it lucrative is a different story. If you're not paying your people, if you're not paying your business expenses, if you're not constantly re-upping your merch and, you know, doing your advertising and doing all the proper things, because it's very easy to show the glamorous parts, the fun parts, but the hard part is maintaining it. And I think that's what a lot of these reality stars struggle with. So she tells Eliza to come by the store so they can try to patch things up. Gael's raggedy ass is there too. And then Estelita shows up as well with Eliza. So Eliza's like, you owe my girl Amada an apology. And Estelita's like, I'm Amara's friend too. If you jump, I'm jumping too, bitch. And she's like, you two bitches, y'all want to fight? Let's tussle. And I was like, okay, Estelita. But Estelita's all bark and no bite. So Estelita goes off, and I guess they get to going back and forth, and Flo just start, or not Flo, Gael start yelling. She start, going off the handle, and Eliza starts roasting the sisters. I'm telling you, her one-liners be having me, they be sending me. I was like, I would love to have drinks with Eliza because she's funny as hell. She got a little bit of a street edge. I don't want to say ghetto. She got a little bit of flavor to her, and I like that. Because I was like, bitch, that's how I be talking to when I'm with my friends. Like, when we out for drinks, I be like, bitch, what's up? Like, I'll call my friends. I be like, bitch, hey, girl, how you doing? What's up? But they know it's like a term of endearment, which is so toxic. I need to do better. Like, I do want to stop cussing by the time I have kids. Or not cuss as much. So Eliza goes off and says the sisters share the same girls, the same guys, and the same pH balances. When I tell you that sent me, I said, where does girl be getting this stuff from? She's very funny. Like, if you really listen to what she be saying. So that scene goes off. So then next we see Raggedy Ass Swerve and Trina shooting a music video. So the song is called On You. It's kind of like supposed to be a slow vibe, like, oh, I'm D'ing you down. We're all in love. Fuck the world. It's us against the world type of vibe. Swerve is a really fucking bad rapper. He should not rap ever again. My ears were bleeding. Joy and Snoop are there to support them at the video shoot. Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I hope y'all don't eat me alive. I don't think Joy needs to be on the show anymore. I feel like this sounds so fucking messed up. Joy rides Trina's coattails. I don't want to say she doesn't have anything going on. We don't see her have anything going on. She's just always there supporting Trina. I feel like she's a yes woman. She doesn't check Trina. She enables her, and I don't like that. And I think Joy is a sweet person. Don't get me wrong. But she has no storyline. Her and Trick are over, but not over. She doesn't really add anything to the show. I'm gonna need her to go, or she needs to do something else. I remember she had a boyfriend, was it last season? All of a sudden that's not worked out. And I think a lot of it has to do, Trick is holding her back. He point blank, they need to come to some resolution. They need to have a come to Jesus moment and follow through, for fucking Christ's sake. So Snoop is like, hey, let me rap a taste with you, Swerve. I'm sorry, I'm gonna drink some water because my throat a little dry. I've been talking for 30 minutes straight. So anyway, he's like, let's go outside. Let's chop it up for a second. So Swerve is like, oh, this is my first time recording. Cause like Snoop starts inquiring. He kind of like, is like, oh, I'm so impressed with you, bro. Like, you taking care of my sister. You're doing what you're doing, your manly duties. And so I feel like he was kind of gassing him up to get him to let his guard down so he could swoop in and start giving him the third degree. So he's like, what's making you do this? He's like, oh, it's my first time recording. I always wanted to rap. I've been in the studio with Trina. I've been kind of picking up certain things and I want to give it a shot. And she encouraged me to. So here we are. So it's funny because Swerve initially has his sunglasses on and Snoop was like, yeah, take them bitches off. He's like, I want to look you in the eye, man to man. Like, we're not doing all this hiding behind shit. He's like, let's rap a taste for real, for real. So he does. So then let me see. And then he's like, so where's Trina's place in the music? And, he answers it. He's like, the same way our love is, like, it's always going to be our priority. It's always going to be number one. And I'm like, you have just like the perfect answer for everything. I told you, I don't like people that have the perfect answer for everything because I feel like they're hiding something and I feel like they're lying. So anyway, Snoop is like, I want to get to know you. He's like, what was your life like before you met Trina? Like, because he did say, he was like, bro came out of nowhere. And he's like, I need to know where you came from, what you're about, what's your story. So Swerve, I noticed, is not answering his questions directly. He can barely look him in the eye. And then when he does, he looks like he's slurred as fuck. Like, he's like slurring his words. He's looking all everywhere. Like, he looks like he's either high, drunk, or both. And he was sipping something. It was like in a little shot, like plastic shot glass or something. And I'm like, is he high? Is he... like, what is it? And I was like, I hope he's not doing this around her. But I'm like, if she's okay with it, if she like it, I love it. That's kind of how I feel. So then he's like, how did you and my sister get here? He's like, oh, our thing got us here. And I'm like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And so Snoop starts asking him about the kids that he's not taking care of or that he's been accused of not taking care of. And Swerve says, we're locked in. I don't need to tell nobody nothing. She already know what she need to know. And I'm like, I'm like, that's not a good look. Like, this is her brother. You need to respect him. This is your brother-in-law. Like, he gonna come see about her. She has a really strong team behind her. I will give her that. Like, her support system is good in the sense of they're very protective of her, but they do enable her a lot. So Swerve is like, we're locked in. And he's like, well, yeah, we said I do. So Snoop like, I do what? I like cheese. I like hot dogs. I like hamburgers. I do like to eat potato chips. Like, He's like, no, we're married. And then Snoop is like, oh, really now? And then it just kind of cuts off. And I was like, ooh, that is not the way you tell your family member that you eloped. I would never do that. My mom would fuck me up. Nick's mom would fuck me up. I thought about it because it was stressful planning the wedding, but I would never do that to my family because they have actually been super instrumental. Like my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, our parents, like our siblings, everybody has been so instrumental and important to us and giving us like the tools to get here. So I just could not do that to them. Like I thought about getting married at home, and Nick was like, "No, we need to have a nice wedding." And I was like, put some fucking fairy lights in the backyard and rent some tables and some fucking catering to go. I said we could have tacos, and he didn't want that. Which is funny because usually women want the big high-end wedding or like the fancy. It was him. I was like, I don't like nobody that much to pay that type of money, but we ended up having a great wedding. Our wedding was beautiful. Maybe I'll do a video about that. Maybe not. That's kind of personal. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting to my end here. So we see the grand opening of Flo's stores. They're like right next door to each other. I guess there was one store that she initially bought and then one opened up next door. And I was like, how coincidental is that? Was it? I mean, it could happen, but I don't think I was believing it. And it just almost seemed too good to be true. I don't know what to believe with her because she's so, it's funny. She'll be like, no, I didn't do this. Because I remember last season when somebody told Claudia that she was still sleeping with, I think Marlon had a video on his phone at an event that she had showing them in bed together, and she looked very risque, like in lingerie, and looked like they had been tussling in between the sheets. And she lied to Claudia and said, no, I didn't. But then in the confessional, she was like, I did. I slipped up. And it's like, so it's hard to believe her. It's hard to believe anything that she says, anything that comes out her mouth. So this bitch gonna say she's inspired by Rihanna. I'm going from music to skincare. And she says her raggedy ass like stage name and her raggedy ass skincare name. It was like Salat or something. I don't fucking know how to pronounce it. Flo is delusional as fuck. She is Delulu Central. Like her music is bad and she has bad business sense. Like again, pretty girl, dumb as a box of rocks. So maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but that's my thought. So Shay is there too. She pulls up. Shay looks cute. She had a cute little dress on. She's like walking the red carpet. Someone's taking like a social media video, I think, for her to promote or post. So Shay is like, oh my God, I'm so excited to promote Healthy Hand, her product in Flo's store. Again, it gives me like what's the one a day vitamins. It kind of reminds me of something like that. I think they're like apple cider vinegar gummies or supplements. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it was kind of stupid. So anyway, also I wanted to say I like Shay a lot. Don't get me wrong. Her makeup is too heavy. A lot of the girls wear too heavy makeup. Her and Flo both wear really heavy makeup, as well as the hair. It's just too much. I'm like, Rapunzel, tone it down. I need it to be more natural. Shay doesn't. Actually, she looks better without makeup to me. If she did just like more natural or more muted or more mature looks, I think that would be better for her. Like just a nude lip, maybe a little bit of winged eyeshadow, and maybe like some light foundation and light like bronzy brown, more natural or earth tone. I think she would look so much better. That's just me. I might be wrong. Again, she's not an ugly girl, but still. So Shay says everyone is hating on her. Bitch, they're not. I hate when people say they have haters and they don't, because it's like not everybody has a hater and not everybody's checking for you. It's giving delusional, babe. So Flo tells her about the meetup that went left with Amara, and of course Shay chimes in talking about she's a punk ass bitch, this, that, and the third. And then she's like, y'all were really fighting about Safari. And I was like, okay, this is one of the few times you hear me agree with Shay, because who the fuck would fight over raggedy ass Safari? He just thinks with his little head. He's not cute. He doesn't have anything to offer. He's a complete narcissist. And he does not give a shit about women. He treats them so poorly. Like, it's just, I don't understand how he even gets women. I don't understand how you see him dog other women out and think that you're any special or any different. Like, no. So Shay is like, Safari's for the streets. And I was like, I completely agree. But I was like, bitch, you can't be saying nothing, because so is Fabo. Because remember, I forgot to say in the beginning of the review, Shay had gotten a Tesla from Fabo, but they are saying that he gave it from another girl that he was dealing with. And I said, bitch, you can't be talking, because your skeletons are all out for everyone to see. Well, really Fabo's skeletons, but they affect and embarrass her. So Shay says, I got your back. I want the smoke with these hoes. And I said, God damn. I said, but Shay, she can throw hands. So I kind of believe her. So then Bobby shows up and says something wild always happens at Flo's events. So he's like, I'm there to support, but like also to sip the tea, also to hear the drama or see if anything goes down, because he is right. Every time she throws an event, a grand opening of this, that, and the third, something goes left. And I noticed she's always having grand openings, and I'm like, so are you keeping these businesses open, or is it open for the show and then they close shop later because they're not doing well, they're not bearing a return on the investment? You know what I mean? Like, I'm very curious about that. She gives me very much, she's stunting for the with the trying to keep up with the Joneses. She's stunting, and I hate stunt culture so bad. I actually plan to do a video on that because I saw this story about this Black couple in Connecticut that stole, what was it, thousands of dollars of Lululemon, but their online surgery got the drip, like promoting this like rich or lavish lifestyle, but they, I think, were stealing the clothes and then flipping it and making it look like they had it when they really didn't. And I don't like that shit. That is one thing about Black culture that I'm like, I'm not co-signing that. Like, I love my culture, I love my people, I love being Black, don't get me wrong, but I hate that shit. Why am I gonna go broke pretending for people that don't even like me? It's stupid as fuck. But anyway, so Gael gives him the rundown of what's happening, and he's just like, oh, one thing too, Bobby, I feel like he was actually a really good character. Like, he was really more involved. He had more scenes, and now he's just like a side character, and I don't like that. I also don't like what the fuck he's done to his face or lips. He did not need it. He was actually gorgeous. Bobby was more funny, he was more involved, and he was just like that funny, like, gay bestie, like, who would hit the town with you and like stir the pot. But I don't know what happened. I don't know what he's been working on. I know he was like on OnlyFans. I know he's been doing other reality shows. What is that show on E, House of Villains? He does like little odd stints here and there. But I was like, where's his music? What else can he do creatively? What else can he offer the world? I think he does like Tubi or like BET type movies and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't really watch them. Every now and then I watch a BET movie, but I feel like Black movies are so bad. And not all of them, but I feel like those ones that are like BET, like, they're like super low budget. I feel like the storyline is predictable. I feel like they're not well acted. I feel like the wigs, the makeup, like, all would just be so fucking bad. But sometimes I'll just watch it because I'm like, hey, like, I want to support. But it be so bad, I'm like, the quality is not the same. And I feel like white actors get better roles and they have a better pool, you know, like pool of opportunities. Like one time, I forgot what movie it was, but it was with Iman Shumpert and some girl. Tiana Taylor's ex-husband is Iman. And she was like an influencer who kept fucking up. She was like popular on the scene, but she kept getting in trouble and stuff. And so then she dials it back and she decides to try to find like meaning in her work or meaning in her lifestyle. So then this inmate, Iman, played by Iman Shumpert, messages her on Instagram, and they start a relationship. And I guess he was accused of murdering his teacher or coach or something, and he was actually having an affair with her, and like it was like a whole thing, but it was so bad. There was one scene where she was supposed to have been hit by a car because she starts getting stalked. He gets out and like all hell breaks loose. She's getting stalked, right? And she jumps in front of like the street before the car even hits her, like little shit like that. And I was like, oh my god. And the plot lines of Black movies are so predictable, and I also feel like they paint Black women in bad light because it's like every Black man is not an abuser. Like, stop it. But anyway, that was my little sidebar or whatever. So MJ shows up to support Shay. He's trying to save the relationship between their mom and, you know, his sister Shay before it's tarnished for good. I think they need to get off TV and resolve all these family issues, because them being on reality TV is just perpetuating them and making it worse. So MJ texts her about Fabo. He's like, hey, when we're talking to an elder, you have to come correct. You have to have decorum. I completely 100% agree with him on that. Everything he said, I was like, I fuck with it. I really like MJ. I would like to see him on the show more. If we could take somebody off, take Bobby off and put MJ on more, because I think he's interesting. Like, he's cute. He's, you know, doing music. Like, he seems like a cool guy. Seems pretty respectful. I'd like to see him on there with a little love interest or something. So then Zoe shows up to the grand opening because, you know, her and Flo are back good again. They back cool. So she's like, I'm about to tell Shay about Fabo and my sister, and bitch, I'm not ready. And I was like, why would you go there to an event to talk to her? I would have been like, can I talk to... I would have been like, Flo, give me her number, and then I would have set something up on the side. That is not the time or the place. Your friend is having an event. You're supposed to be supporting her. See, this is the shit. I'm like, you can tell it's produced. They were probably told to come here and shoot here. And I was like, I would never do that to my friend. If I knew some shit like that, I'm not even sure I would tell, just because sometimes you tell people that stuff and then they still stay with the dude who's raggedy for real. So it's just like, I don't know. I've never been in a situation like that, knock on wood, and I'm not trying to be. You kind of, I want to be there for my friends, and I like being honest with them, and we tell each other everything, but then it's like certain things I'm like, I'm gonna probably stay out of that one. I'll give you space or hold space for you to vent, but it's like, I'm not, unless you ask me to tell you what you should do, or you just need I think most people already know what they want to do. They just want to vent. So I just kind of leave it at that. And I try to be accommodating and open, you know, unless I'm like, bitch, I'm going through my own shit. I don't have it to do. So I think that the way Zoe started the conversation with I was gonna say Flo, Show was mature. So Flo was like, "Do you know Shay?" And Zoe's like, "No, but I'm about to." And Flo takes her over and introduces her, and she's like, "Hey, can I talk to you outside?" And Shay and MJ start going back and forth, and Shay start turning up on him, and she's like, "Well, you don't want to hear what the f I gotta say," and whoop de whoop, like she just immediately lashes out, and I'm like, "Girl, like." Hear the man out, because what he said wasn't wrong. And she's like, well, it was mom's fault. Fable didn't do nothing. And it's like, you were complaining about your mom not taking up for you and having all these dudes in and out and neglecting you as a result, you know, when your parents broke up. And now you're doing the same thing. Like, you're going to repeat the cycle with your daughter. And I don't like that. I'm like, Shay, friend, we could do better. We could do so much better. So anyway, yeah, she was like, I don't want to upset you, Shay. Zoe's like, I don't want to upset you. I don't think you're going to like what I have to say, but I want to be real with you. And she's like, hey, look, as woman to woman, she's like, Shay, I don't think you should reconcile with Fabo, because he's been giving my sister the impression that y'all not together and that he's a single man, and he's been chatting her up. And she's like, hey, there's also a possibility that Bianca might be pregnant by him. And I'm like, what killed me was Shay actually started crying, but she wasn't making noise. Like, you could just see the tears streaming down her face, and like her face just dropped. Her whole demeanor just, I actually felt bad for her, even though we all know Fabo is trash, and we know that Shay doesn't necessarily pick the best men, and she doesn't have the best track record in the romance department. Nobody deserves that. Like, I actually did feel bad for her. I was like, sis need hugs. She need hugs. She needs wine. She need a spa day. She needs something. Like, I just felt so bad for her. So then I also want to back up for a second. I feel like Bianca's storyline might be fake and that she might not be pregnant by him, only because we never heard her say that. I don't remember her saying that she met up with Fabo in person. I could be wrong, or it couldn't have been in the scene. I'm not too sure. I don't really remember that. I was taking a lot of notes, so I might have missed that, because some parts I did miss. But I try to get the, you know, all the key points. But I'm like, didn't she say all the communications was through the phone, like through social media, like IG? I think she did say that they had talked on the phone, they were FaceTiming, but I never heard her specifically say, oh, we linked up. But again, I could have missed it. That might have been my bad. So I kind of find this hard to believe, but I'm like, why would you want to go on national TV, embarrass yourself over a man that's not claiming you? Like, come on, sis, have more sense than that. So again, like I said, I felt really bad for Shay. I felt bad for Zoe because this put her in such an awkward predicament. And I don't think it was Zoe's place to go tell her. I think Zoe should have had her sister contact her, because Zoe's not the one who did this. She didn't betray Shay. She didn't go deal with somebody that we see on TV in a relationship and has a whole ass child with another woman. So her sister exercised the worst judgment. She's silly to believe that she's any special and that he's going to leave Shay for her, because he's not. Him and Shay have such a long history. They've been together, dealing with each other off and on for 10 plus years. You really think that's like the equivalent of a marriage to me. He not gonna leave her. He telling you what you want to hear so that he gets what you want, which is what Zoe said, in your drawers. So Zoe hands her a pregnancy test, which I was like, bitch, why are we carrying around sticks of pee in our purse? But okay. And I'm like, how we know that's from her sister? How we not know it's something that production gave her, or Zoe could have picked up at the drugstore or something? I don't think Zoe would do that. She seems to have some integrity, so I don't know. But then the show cuts off, and I said, bitch, I'm ready for next week's episode. Like, I'm excited. So anyway, this is the end of my review. I hope you guys like it. Please feel free to comment in the comment section. There's one person, oh my god, is it Kayshawn? Girl, hey, I love when you comment on the videos. Also, hey girl, hey Whitney, one of my friends, she always comments. Keep them coming. I want to keep engaging with you guys. I'm ready to see how the rest of the season unfolds. Every episode seems to be more explosive than the last, even though it's only the first 2 episodes. So I'm really hyped for this season. Also, when the fuck is Black Ink Crew coming back? I'm like, I want to review that. I was like, I love that show. It's so fucking ratchet, but it's like so honest and like funny and crazy. Like, I really would love to hang out with the Black Ink Crew, but also no, because they stay fighting. But anyway, I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed this review and have a good night. Bye.